Thanks for being with us here today, Sai. I appreciate having you on the show.
Hey Joe, thanks for having me here.
Okay, so Sai, give my visitors and my audience a little bit of idea about where you come from in the technology space, where you come from in the pool industry, and what CamerEye is all about.
Yeah, so I'm a techie by education, by trade. I'm all about AI, which is artificial intelligence. I got my PhD actually in artificial intelligence from UC San Diego. Graduated in 2018. Before CamerEye, I actually jumped into AI and started a company which is completely unrelated to the pool industry, but it has something to do with renewable energy, like solar, wind, and whatnot. So we design software that is AI related to cater the renewable sector. So for example, utilities would buy our software and do a better job at managing renewable energy, like solar portfolio, wind, or whatnot, batteries, storage. So that's really my background, but I have been a lifelong swimmer. I've actually been on our swim team, our college swim team. I love swimming, I love surfing. You find me, if I'm not at trade shows or not doing my work, you'll see me in the ocean or in the swimming pool.
So you're a Southern California guy, right?
Yes, I live in San Diego, right, probably half a mile from the beach. And so I'm very, very attracted and, very enthusiastic water person, if you will.
Sure.
So really, I mean, to get back to your question, why this is a passion for me, is because, like I said, I've been a lifelong swimmer, did a lot of swim sessions. Every time I used to hear about someone drowning, especially kids, it used to just, make me super duper sad, very upset. So I kept hearing these stories, and at a time I said, I have the technical background, I do have some entrepreneurial skills from my first company. What can I do now? How can I leverage all that to do something that I'm passionate about, such as water safety? So that was how CamerEye got started. Actually, the idea started in 2014 when I was doing swim laps in France. And I heard about someone drowned and they wanted to close down the swimming pool.
Wow.
So that's when the idea started, but it did not have any skill set to actually make it realistic. By the time I had it, it was 2019, 5 years after, which is when we started building the company.
So the idea was injected in your head prior to that. It was like 5 years.
5 years before that, and we worked on POCs, simulations, because it is AI, you need to have some validation. Even before you have real life validation, you need to do even some software validation.
Sure.
So all that happened in the 5 years essentially.
All right, so take us on that journey, man. I mean, you had the idea, all right, for this product. Okay, so what was the process like for you from going to concept to completion, actually rolling this product out into the market?
Yeah, so like I said, 2019 was when me and my friend, who actually lives in Florida now, who's one of our co-founders, we started looking at it very seriously. That was when I actually bought our first camera and put it in, I didn't have a pool back then. Now I do, we have a community pool. I put it on our friend's pool, he agreed to it. Really, we didn't even stick the camera properly to the wall. We just put some tape and whatnot. He still makes fun of it, my friend. And we just put the camera up, we connected to our big computer, which we plugged into my friend's house, and we started running software. Really what we wanted to do is, first wanted to see if the camera picks up humans. Because keep in mind, the biggest difference between CamerEye and cameras out there like Ring, Nest, Simplicity, what are we talking about? They do motion detection.
Right.
Anything that moves, they go off. Like you have the car moving, you have the tree branch moving, even like sunrise, sunset, because of the thermal component in it. Like birds flying, they keep going off, which is not at all ideal for whatever, we're looking for pool safety. So our first concept was, does it even detect humans? Because that's where we wanted to start. And then we started building up, and a lot of people know this. Initially, the idea was to sell to public pools and commercial pools, like YMCA's, universities. So we had 3 beta projects going on, all in San Diego. The local Y, the university, and another public pool in San Diego. They all installed cameras. We didn't sell these. We purchased the cameras, installed them for free, and we rolled out the software. And that's when the data collection started happening. So really early to mid 2019 is when we started collecting all this data to build a product.
So this the main distinction, guys, between Sai's product, the CamerEye product, and other pool alarms on the market, all right, is that there's actually some smart tech going on over there, all right, that's able to make a clear distinction, all right, in distress, all right, from regular motion around the pool area, all right. So this product is actually able to, in real time, make a determination on the fly in a split second to see if somebody's actually in trouble in the pool. And when that happens, what happens, Sai?
Yeah, so, like I was saying, the first thing we wanted to do was track humans, because that itself is a very, very challenging problem.
Right.
And we'll get to distress detection and mirror drowning and all that, which is very sophisticated, complicated than what I'm telling you now. The reason human tracking is very hard is because there's so many algorithms out there. Intel has really good algorithms, NVIDIA, Google, they have great algorithms from data that leverage neural networks that can detect humans on the land, when people are walking on the land.
Right.
But when people enter the water, as you can see in the video over there, it's a completely different, it's a different ballgame. Detecting people inside the water because of the distortion created by water and whatnot, and reflection, shape, is a very, very tough problem. So that was a very, very tough nut to crack. Once we cracked that, then the next problem was, how do we differentiate someone from swimming or playing or just hanging on a floaty versus who's struggling in the water or who's really near drowning or in distress. So again, the way we really architected the system, if you will, was from the ground up. We went to these lifeguards. Remember I told you there are 3 public pools that we started beta, POC, proof of concept, testing this on. We went to the lifeguards and said, tell us all the stuff that you look for when you're ready to jump in the water, when you see there's some distress happening in the pool. And we noted down, 40, 50 things that lifeguards said, and we came down to 13 different features. Some of them are combined, some of them are duplicate. So we said these are the 13 different features that lifeguards look at when they need to jump. Right. So, for example, bobbing, for example, is one of them. Bobbing happens when, mostly for kids under 10, when they're not underwater, all the head is not underwater, they're trying to go up and down. It looks like they're playing. They're just like going up and down, breathing, but they're struggling. And they're not yelling, they're not screaming, and they're not trashing. It is very silent, and lifeguards are very well trained for that. So one of the toughest nut to crack for us before we went from human tracking to distress tracking or drowning tracking was bobbing behavior. And then there's another behavior when people are underwater for too long. It's not good. If you go to YMCA, you jump in the water, you stay underwater for 15 seconds, practice, breath holding or whatnot. Lifeguards will say it's not good because before you know it, you're gonna blank out and you can start drowning. So these are all the things that we learn from the lifeguards because they are the best people for us to know what's happening. I have been a swimmer, but I've never been a lifeguard. Michelle and Mike, they have been lifeguards, and we have great people on our team. But when we were building the product from ground up, we had to learn from the lifeguards what exactly it is when people are in distress and drowning.
So when people get into the backyard, they're entertaining. There's a lot of kids back in the pool, all right? I mean, your camera is actually able to make the distinction between who's in trouble and like regular horseplay, just kids having fun in the pool, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's that kind of revolutionary technology that we haven't seen in the pool industry so far.
Exactly. So good point. So basically, let's say we have a great video on that. To create awareness among our customers. Most of the drownings always happen either at someone else's pool,
right,
not your own pool, or they happen when people are around. The mom's in the kitchen, dad's on the phone, or there's a pool party. You have a bunch of people coming in, and kids are hanging out in the water. There's one kid, let's say, who slip out of their floaties and they start bobbing it. Let's say.
Right.
And people are around, they just don't know what's happening. So one of the most important characteristics of CamerEye is it does track all the people in the pool independently. So it's not like a floater, or those motion sensing alarms out there that trigger when there's something moving or there's someone entering the water. This is obviously advanced AI, artificial intelligence, which is trained so that it does keep track of every person in the pool independently, and it will know what the behavior of each person is independently. And people ask us, what's the limitation? How many people can you track and whatnot? The answer to this is it's really there's no limit to it. As long as the camera has a good view of all the people in the water,
right,
it can keep track of it. It's like imagine you're putting a water watcher and you're asking them to take care of watch everybody in the water.
right.
As long as they can see everybody clearly, like we call this an occlusion problem where someone is interfering and you can't see the real person here because there's someone standing.
Right.
So that's obviously an edge case which CamerEye cannot handle, pretty much like a human eye. But as long as the camera can see all those people in the water, that is good. It does keep track of it.
So I've seen some of the installations that people have done. I mean, it looks like the product is installed at an elevation so that it has a clear line of sight throughout the whole backyard, and they could actually see everybody in the pool area, and make a clear distinction about where they are in the space, in the 3D space outside of the backyard, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, we have installation guidelines and whatnot. There's a really good installation video, which is, by the way, the product is really easy to install. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, really. It's running
Oh, wow.
running the camera properly and finding the closest power outlet. We have it very clearly that ideally it's between 6 to 12 feet. You don't want it to be anything under 6 feet above the ground level or not over 12 feet. And if the pool's huge, we have guidelines, how many cameras are needed and all that. If the pool is a long pool and one camera is not sufficient, these are wide angle cameras, by the way, 150 degree view. But again, if the pool's huge, you're talking about like lap pools and whatnot, the system supports up to 4 cameras.
Oh, wow.
So you can keep adding cameras up to 4 and will integrate with the app and the hub.
So they all talk to each other?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they all talk to the local network,
Right.
and they all talk to a pattern. So they all coordinated. So if a person, it's interesting you ask that. If a person goes from one camera to the other camera, let's say from view of one camera to the other, they know that the person has already been in the view of at least one camera.
Right.
So it's not going to say a new person. It's going to keep track of the same
Got
person.
it, got it.
So that was another challenge. Again, that's our patented technology. We have a patent on that particular tracking method. But those are all those nuances in building this product.
So, I mean, it's been a really long journey for you, from first concepting the product to rolling it out in the market. What's your reception been like so far from homeowners and pool builders?
Yeah, so like I said, 2019 when we first started building the product, we wanted to launch the product in 2020 to lifeguards, to supplement these lifeguards, help them do their job better.
Right.
However, COVID hit and all the public pools went down.
Right, sure.
And we started, again, for us it's all about the problem and the passion solving the problem. We quickly realized that during the pandemic, the drowning numbers went up 15% and tripled in some states in 2020 and 2021, which is really, really unfortunate. So we quickly pivoted and said, there's the big problem lying in the residential space. And when we started exploring that market, we very soon realized that there are so many laws out there, barrier laws, pool safety laws, that require people to have fences, gates, safety covers, and alarms. Like California, for example, has a very, very strict pool safety law. LA County, for instance, a lot of counties follow LA County. No inspectors will approve your pool to fill until they check all the barriers, including an alarm. And we quickly realized that people started purchasing these cheap alarms out in the market only to meet the code. So they would buy these alarms.
So they're just getting the bare minimum.
Yeah,
Right.
and then take them out when the wind blows, when someone enters the area and all that stuff. When I say someone, it's not a human. It's like some stuff blowing, wind or tree or whatever.
Sure.
So we realized that there's a need in the market for a reliable, robust solution. Cities need it, counties need it, states need them. What can we do? So we quickly pivoted and built this product. Completely had to change our view of how this product would look like. So by the time we launched in the residential space, it was early 2021. That's when we started shipping the product. And we were just overwhelmed by how much reception we got with builders. Because of the fact that builders, when they build a pool, most of the times the pool bill gets delayed the handoff, let's say, gets delayed because the inspector says you don't have this, you don't have that.
Right.
So a lot of pool builders have been very proactive in putting barriers out there, like alarms, like gates, fences. So the biggest challenge for them has been there have been alarms on the market that don't work, or people that take them off.
Oh, I've
People
seen
complain
it.
about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So for them, it was just finding a perfect solution. And with CamerEye, they looked at it, they trialed it, and I don't know if you know this, but we are the only camera system to meet ASTM approval,
That's huge.
which means that 33 states will now approve CamerEye instead of all the floating alarms, and even in some states you can replace pool safety collar. You know, you can have a barrier around your home and have CamerEye, and that's it.
So I know something about you that a lot of other people don't. I mean, I know drowning prevention is a topic that you're very passionate about. It's very near and dear to your heart. Tell our viewers how you're looking to partner with the pool industry to help save lives.
Yeah, so we are very proud partners of NDPA, National Drowning Prevention Alliance, PHTA, the Pool and Heart Battalions. The great thing about all these organizations is they value water safety. I'm new to this industry. I've been only in this industry for, let's say, 2.5 years.
Right.
But I keep hearing from people, like especially builders who are our customers today, that 5, 6, 7 years ago, nobody wanted to talk about water safety.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I heard from NDPA that they tried going to a conference 5 years ago and they got kicked out and got yelled.
Oh,
Like
wow.
people saying, you're here to ruin our business. So the mentality has changed for good reasons. People now value water safety. People now do recognize water safety. PSTA, for example, has stepped into swim initiative.
Right.
We all know that swim lessons are the key. Nothing can beat swim lessons, and adult supervision. So even like top manufacturers, Sinclair, Voyage, or Hayward, they're all sponsoring these big programs. Step into swim, NDPA, and all these big initiatives. And we are partners with them. So the way we look at it is, it's not for us. It's not about selling an alarm. For us, it's all about educating people on what safety is. Obviously, there are more than 10 million pools out there. Education and creating awareness is not easy, as people think it is, to 10 million homeowners, especially 30-40% of them having little kids or grandkids or neighbors who are kids who don't know how to swim. The way we want to go with this is, obviously we have this high-level approach where we're creating awareness with groups from NDP and PHTA, but targeting the builders, especially since they're building new pools, creating awareness among them will now enable to get a good market share among 300,000 new pool builders.
Well, I saw the reception at CareCraft was great. I mean, I know a ton of pool builders in Telluride were really interested in learning more about the product. I know that your position in the consumer space is kind of unique because there's not a ton of competitors right now for what Sai's doing in artificial intelligence for the pool unit. All right, so this kind of IoT technology, all right, is relatively new in terms of pool safety. Right. So, I mean, tell us a little bit more. I mean, what's the price point? How do you install this thing? I mean, give us a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, so the way again we focus our marketing and sales is through our dealers. We really call them partners. We want to change the name from dealers to partners. Because
Right.
really they are our partners. Our partners are builders, who build pools, or service techs, or some retailers who can go do the install. Right? The way we sell this product is we sell it to them at a wholesale price, and then these dealers or partners, these go install the product. Really, like I said, installing the product is only really what it takes is installing the camera. These are not battery cameras. These are hardwired cameras. They run into 4 volts DC with a transformer which plugs into 110 volts AC. And the reason we do that is because you cannot rely on battery systems for safety. You cannot have a battery system out there that runs out of battery in 3 weeks or 3 months, and then it's a danger until you recharge the battery. So we're very particular on that. Hardwired cameras. I know the first installation might take an extra few minutes, but it's kind of set and forget. Once you have it, you have it forever. So builders, retailers, service techs install this for us, for the consumers. The retail price today is $799.
That's pretty reasonable in the scope of saving lives,
Exactly. We were talking to some dealers yesterday, some partners yesterday, and they told us there's really no price tag,
Right.
for safety. So our wholesale price is $560,
Okay.
$560. So there's a 30% margin.
All right, so you're like right in the sweet spot there with the higher end pool alarm system.
Right,
Okay,
exactly.
great.
And we do have pretty much, like I said, like a ring system. We do have some extra recording capabilities. Like if you want to record,
Tell me a little bit more about that. What's up?
so if you want to record events, like you want to go back and look for the last few weeks, the last month of events, and what happened in your pool, you have storage. Everything gets stored in the cloud, secure cloud storage.
So you could just scroll through this thing and see what happened over the last week or so. So if there's some kind of ongoing issue going on, you can actually take a look and go through the footage and see what's going on.
So we provide, so all that
Okay.
comes with some extra cost. We have subscription for people. The system will work as is. The
Right.
alarms will work without any subscription. So only for
Okay.
people who like to get the video, who want to get the recording and all that stuff,
Didn't know what that
they'll
was.
sign up for subscription. For basic plan
thank you,
is
sir.
$12.99.
That's pretty reasonable.
And with our premium plan, which is $19.99 a month,
Right.
so for the premium subscription, what the system will do is through a cloud platform, it can call up to 5 phone numbers. You don't need to have the CamerEye app on you.
Oh, that's right.
To your
So
neighbor,
it can call the police or emergency service.
except 911. We are applying for the 911 access. It takes a while. We will get the 911 access, so that's why we don't call it emergency feature.
Right.
We call it call a friend feature for now.
Okay.
So, except for 911, it will call up to 5 phone numbers. Your family, your neighbors, your friends who live right
All
by.
right, so if mom's at work or dad's out at a golf course or something, they either call a cell phone and say, hey, there's trouble at home.
And it's a recorded message, pre-recorded message,
Right.
and they will tell you that there's something going on in the pool, some distress behavior going on in the pool. So the neighbor can see what's happening, or mom can come back. So whatever that is. So that's another add-on feature, and that comes with premium subscription.
It's a great product. I mean, Sai, Pool Magazine has definitely endorsed it. I mean, we ranked it #1 pool alarm system for 2022. If you want to learn more about this product, go on Pool Magazine or go to CamerEye.ai.com. Learn more about the product, and we definitely recommend that you put one in your own backyard.
Thank you, Joe.